こんにちは。キャッツニュース案内人の猫山又吉です。いつもご覧いただきありがとうございます。アメリカ大統領選がトランプ前大統領の大勝に終わってから日本のマスコミの子飼いであるリベラル学者や評論家、ジャーナリストから芸能人まで、お通夜状態に陥った姿を見て毎日、清々しい朝を迎えている保守派の皆さんもいることでしょう。あんな人、こんな人、果てはそんな人の顔までが次々と脳裏に浮かんでは消えてゆきます。いやー、4年前は本当に悔しい思いをしました。明らかに不審な票の動きや、それと符合するかのような数々の疑わしい映像、宣誓書付きの証言まで飛び出したにもかかわらず、陰謀論者のレッテルを貼られて馬鹿にされました。あれから4年経って、2020年の選挙は選挙だったとの確信がますます強まる中、未だに陰謀論扱いする輩がいることに、馬鹿は死ななきゃ治らないという資源を思い出しました。4年前、あの不人気のバイデンさんが本当に8000万票獲得できたと思いますか？この表を見ても、2020年のバイデンの得票だけ突出して明らかに不自然ですね。事情は本国アメリカでも同じ。というより、日本のマスコミはアメリカの大手メディアのニュースを垂れ流しているだけなので、日本がアメリカと似たり寄ったりの論調になるのでしょう。それでもアメリカでは、そんな左翼メディアを激しく批判するインフルエンサーが多くいます。その中の一人、ビル・オライリーのノースピンニュースチャンネルから一部抜粋して紹介します。
So here are the big losers of the week. Obviously, Kamala Harris. But, you know, I keep telling everybody, Harris was a terrible candidate, wouldn't answer questions. And you can't do that. I mean, there's almost so much BS anybody can take, right? But Biden lost the election, and his legacy is just blown to pieces now. And we'll get into that a little bit. But others, the progressive left, really got hammered. So these are the people who believe that it's fine for a male, born a male, to compete with women on the athletic field in court or in the pool. So the male transitions and then they can come back and compete with women. The progressive left, they love that. They think that's the greatest thing in the world. Yeah, I'd say 80% of Americans don't like that. Progressive left, abortion anytime, for any reason, anywhere. We love abortion. We love it. Okay, they worship at the altar of reproductive rights. This is the crew that has lost a lot. These people also want skin color to define opportunity in America. No. We're all Americans. Skin color shouldn't be a part of any of it. That's the progressive cadre. They took it right between the eyes. But they're not done. In states like New York, Illinois, California, Massachusetts, they still are very powerful. And they're still going to try to ram that insane stuff down the throats of the American people. So they're not done. It's like Dracula, right? You get Dracula with the stake through the heart, but then somebody finds his cape and they pour blood on it, and there he is again. You can't, he's always around. You got to keep banging the stake through his heart. Okay. Another big loser is TV news. I've been in the business 50 years, so I've seen it all. When I started, there was no videotape. They were shooting with film. Scranton, Pennsylvania, WNEP TV. First job as a reporter. January 2025, 50 years ago. My God. Anyway, I went through it all, and I know them all. Mike Wallace, Peter Jennings, Dan Rather, Walter Cronkite. Know them. Lowest level now in the history of the medium. So how many times did you hear from pinheads on television in the last week? How many times did you hear? We'll see. Yeah. Okay? How many times did you hear? Deep dive. How many times did you hear By the way, it's over and over and over again. It's so boring, so tedious. It's not so much the ideology, all right? And all of the cables are divided that way, and all the network news is left. All of it. They don't even bother hiring conservative people anymore, okay? And we'll get into specifics. But it's the banality of the presentation. And that's because the television news executives don't care. They don't care how boring you are on television. I can't watch it. The best of it is News Nation, and I contribute to News Nation. But I'll tell you what, on election night, they kicked everybody's butt. News Nation had the numbers first. They had a much livelier presentation. Now, I have formalized my deal with them. I am on 7 o'clock Mondays on News Nation, and between 8 and 8:30 on Wednesdays. And then there'll be other appearances too, based upon need. And if any of the anchors on News Nation say this banal stuff, okay, at the end of the day, I mock them right to their face. Okay, stop with the cliches. Stop. And I did a commentary early on this week on that, and then somebody, oh, Riley slant. Yeah, I am. These people get paid hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars. They got to bring something else to it. Okay, so television news, and let me back that up. So here are some numbers, okay? Morning, ABC's Good Morning America, down 25% in viewership. CBS this morning, down 25% in viewership. NBC's Today Show, 26% down. That's not good. That is not good. Okay? And it's accelerating. How about the evening news? All right, let's go to ABC. David Muir, 18% decline. Lester Holt, NBC, 23% for Lester down. CBS Even News, I don't even know who the anchor is. They keep firing them over there. 20% decrease. In the last week of September, before the presidential campaigns really kicked in, all three nightly newscasts, you know what their average per night was? 18 million. There were some nights on the O'Reilly Factor we ran 3 times when I did 18 million. Okay, one. It's just crazy. Nobody's watching. Now, I'm going to make a prediction. Not that you care, because you're watching me, which is alternative television media and radio, because we have all radio affiliates. All of the executives running the TV news organizations at the network level will be fired next year. All of them. All going. You can't sustain it. Let's go over to cable news, okay? CNN down 40%, 40. MSNBC down 30%, Fox News down 26%, cable primetime ratings. This is a disaster. It's a disaster. And my guys are compiling numbers here. We got tens of millions of people watching this now, because we're on so many outlets all over the place. And that's what's happening, not just with me, but because of social media, the boring stuff on cable and network, people going, it's a waste of my time. I'm going to go over social media and find more interesting presentations, i.e. the no-spin news. If we're boring, you got to tell me. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com, Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. If we're boring, you tell me. And you cite it. This was boring. I want to know. Okay, so TV news, big loser. This week, presidential election. Newspapers, same thing. All right, let's take a look at the Washington Post. Remember, they wouldn't endorse, and there was a revolution inside the newsroom. They all wanted Kamala Harris. Their circulation has dropped 47% at the Washington Post. 47% in 5 years. You know how much money they're losing over there? Tens of millions of dollars. How about the LA Times? They wouldn't endorse. Everybody's quitting. They're going to go below 100,000 a day in the nation's second largest city in circulation. Their circulation has dropped 73% in the Los Angeles Times in 5 years. 73%. Now reading it. because it's propaganda. And finally, the New York Times, their print circulation dropped 43% in 5 years. New York Times, oh, well, on the internet, okay, maybe. Maybe. I think New York Times has the best internet setup. I get the Wall Street Journal. I get three newspapers delivered every day here to the house. Okay, this is where the studio is in my house. And I can't tell you what a difference that makes in my life. The Wall Street Journal is the best. So if you're still like me and you like the paper and all that, they're the best. Their editorial page is very, very good. News pages lean left a little bit too much, but they usually back up what they say. The movie industry, it already collapsed. So Brad Pitt, you know this, Brad Pitt and George Clooney, right? You know them, right? Now, I don't know Pitt. Never ran into him. Clooney, I know. So they're buddies. Ocean's 11, all of that stuff. They put out a movie in September named Wolf, okay? And it was supposed to be in all the theaters. The distributor of the film only kept it in 1 week, and it wasn't even in many theaters. I asked people, nobody knows where it is. I think it's on Apple now or something like that. That movie was such a bomb, lost so much money. And these are the two biggest male names. It's over. It's over. Unless you're blowing things up so people in Pakistan will go. That's where they make their money. You gotta blow things up. Serious movies? I mean, Oscars? Nobody, it's over. The whole motion picture industry. And quality is one of the reasons, but the other reason is they're all pinheads. They're all lined up behind Kamala Harris. Joe Biden's the greatest president. No, he's not, and everybody knows it. Music industry, okay? I guess Taylor Swift got away with it, I guess, but that thing is, except for country music, out of Nashville, because they're more balanced there. And they seem to be doing pretty well, hanging tough. But pop music, I can't name a song. Now, I listen to classic rock and R&B, but it usually gets through to me, I got two urchins who are in that category. I go, what about pop music? Is there any? And they go, in 30 years, not going to be any classic rock because this stuff they put out now, nobody's going to want to hear it. All right, so all of these people getting involved with progressive politics is hurting their industry. The big winner in the presidential election of 2024 is us, we the people, okay? So we don't care what the progressive media says or the entertainment pinheads. We know what's going on, right? Now, I was a little discouraged 2 years ago because I'm ahead of the game. And I thought 22, they would figure out that Biden is the second worst president ever and vote Republican, but they didn't. They being we the people. But 2 years later, when everyone is suffering economically who's working for a living, they did. It was all about money in your wallet. They'll give you immigration. Immigration is important. They'll give you a woke, important. But if Biden had a robust economy, Kamala probably would have won.
いやー、これでもかとバッタバッタと切り捨てる物言いに胸のすく思いがします。それでは次回までさようなら。